the end of every semester, it is inevitable that a few students are failing the course and don't understand why. Some of them think their poor grades are a result of me not liking them. In fact, these students find the idea that their own poor work ethic could have caused their poor grades unfathomable. So in an attempt to clear up any future misunderstandings regarding the relationship between your performance in this class and your grades, I've put together a few tips on how to fail this class. Tip number 1, don't read the syllabus. The syllabus contains important information about assignments and course policies that are really just a waste of your time. Your instructor took the time to write this document just because she was bored and thought it would be a fun way to kill some time. The syllabus is your contract with your instructor. By remaining in a course, you agree to uphold your end of that contract. Likewise, your instructor must uphold her end by sticking to course policies and applying them equally to all students. If the syllabus says that no late work is accepted and you ask for an extension, you are violating that contract and asking your instructor to do the same. This type of behavior is unethical and unacceptable. Read the syllabus. Know the course policies. Violating them will only impede your ability to succeed in the class. Tip number 2, miss class. The more often you can do this, the better. If you want to ensure that you've made a bad impression on your instructor, ask her if you missed anything important. Your instructor never says anything important in class, so she'll be really impressed that you picked up on this. Seriously though, if you miss class, don't ask me what you missed. I already taught the class and thereby fulfilled my obligation. If you miss a class period, you should contact a classmate for notes and instructions for any assignments that might have been distributed. In fact, it's a good idea to befriend a classmate early on. If you exchange phone numbers, email addresses, or Facebook accounts, so you can let each other know ahead of time if you'll miss class, then your friend can get an extra copy of handouts and have a copy of his or her notes ready for you. Tip number 3, skim reading assignments instead of actually reading them. Better yet, don't bother looking at them at all. This will help you fail quizzes and exams that test your understanding of useless information. I really don't think I will ever understand why college students refuse to read. Most college professors aren't going to lecture straight from the assigned reading material, and many have abandoned the outdated instructional method of lectures altogether in favor of class discussions. This class will be based on discussions, during which I will pose questions and expect you to respond according to your understanding of any assigned reading. This way, we can all confront our personal reactions and interpretations of the reading with others who might disagree with us. Scientific studies that investigate how new knowledge is created agree that this is a much more effective way to learn. Tip number 4, don't read assignment instructions. These instructions clearly outline your instructor's expectations, so if you read them carefully, you risk actually doing the assignment correctly. Students are often surprised, sometimes outraged, when they see low scores on their evaluation rubrics. I provide these rubrics ahead of time, along with the assignment instructions, so there should be no surprises regarding how I grade assignments. If you are a student who puts forth your best effort in all of your work, you should be just fine. And if not, you can be sure that I will connect you to the campus tutoring services to help you succeed. On the other hand, if you're a student who tries to put forth minimal effort, this might not work out so well for you. And if that's the case, your poor work ethic isn't demonstrative of the skills college graduates should have. So it won't really bother me if you fail an assignment or even the course. Tip number 5, Don't do any studying beyond memorizing key terms for the course. After all, college courses are supposed to be easy. Memorization was good enough for high school, but rest assured that this tactic will definitely help you in your endeavor to fail college courses, which are designed to test how well you can analyze information and apply knowledge to problem-solving situations, not what you memorized. There are very few set-in-stone, right and wrong answers in this class. You will have a short list of terms that you will be expected to know, so that you can discuss the reading according to its merits as artistic works of literature. However, you will not be tested on how well you know what these terms mean, but rather how well you can recognize and analyze their use in the assigned readings. Analysis is something you can only become better at by practicing it. You shouldn't necessarily expect to be great at this at the beginning of the semester. However, if you are actually working to hone this skill, you should see improvements in your grades over the course of the semester. Avoid the temptation to compare yourself to other students in the class. Instead, set goals for yourself to consistently improve from one assignment to the next. Remember, grades don't measure how hard you work, but the quality of the work you produce. Tip number 6. Participate in class discussions and group projects as little as possible. Most instructors award points for participation, and earning points will sabotage your ability to effectively fail the course. Better yet, use class time to nap, text, play games on your cell phone, or catch up with your friends on Facebook. If you're lucky, your instructor will notice and ask you to leave class. You can rest assured that I will call you out in front of everyone and ask you to leave my class. I will not demonstrate respect for any student who disrespects me and my classroom. Tip number 7. Don't take notes in class. Taking notes helps your brain remember information, and you might be tempted to study those notes before quizzes and exams. Many students aren't sure how to take notes in discussion-based classrooms. If this sounds like you, you should set up an appointment with a study skills specialist in the Learning Lab who can teach you some good note-taking strategies. Tip number 8. Make excuses when you don't complete your assignments correctly or on time. It will impress your instructor that you think she cares why you screwed up your assignment. In my experience, the number one reason students make excuses is that they think their excuses are actually legitimate. I was sick. I got called into work. I couldn't get a babysitter. I scheduled my vacation before I signed up for this class. I lost my flash drive. My computer crashed. It doesn't matter if you were sick or your dog ate your homework. You are either present in class or you are not. You either turn in your assignments completed, on time, and in the correct format, or you don't. The reasons why you failed to meet your obligation as a student are irrelevant. Tip number 9. Let your instructor know that you think the class is a complete waste of your time. She can't dock you any points for this, but it will ensure that she never tries to help you pass the course by approving an extension on an assignment or offering to meet with you after class to review for a test or clarify assignment instructions. My obligation to you is confined within the walls of this classroom and the period of time in which your class schedule places us in this room together. For students who attend class regularly, participate in class discussions, submit their assignments on time without complaining or making excuses, and demonstrate a willingness to learn, I will be available as much as possible and do everything in my power to help you succeed. For slackers, those of you trying to do only the minimum to get by, I will not extend myself beyond the obligation for which I am paid. And finally, tip number 10, whatever you do, never ask for help. But if you just can't resist the temptation, at least wait till the end of the semester when it would be almost impossible to raise your grade. And make sure your attitude sufficiently conveys to your instructor that you're only interested in doing as little as possible in your valiant attempt to salvage your grade. If you work hard all semester, you won't have to panic at the end. You also won't have to try to convince your instructor that you are worth her time and effort. The best part of following these simple guidelines is that you can always blame your professor for your failing grade. After all, she just doesn't like you. If she did, she would have made the class as easy as possible, so you would be poorly prepared for the real world, with ineffective communication skills and limited ability to think critically. I find it highly offensive when students blame their poor grades on whether or not their instructors like them. In the rare case that your instructor doesn't like you, it's probably because you have exhibited the behaviors outlined in this How to Fail guide, in which case your professor could think you're the most awesome person on the planet and you still wouldn't have a chance of passing. If you're not here with a genuine interest in learning, then you have no business being in college in the first place and should perhaps look into whether a trade certificate program might not be a better fit for you. If you remain in my class, I expect you to exhibit the work ethic of a successful college student. If you fail to do this, you can rest assured you will not do well in this class.